a lot of people are trying to give back to nature. And the way that Dr. Polom has done this is by making a birch bark canoe the way the Indians did it many years ago.
How long did it take you to build this canoe?
It took roughly about 3 years, and but not full time. I worked at it evenings and afternoons, whenever I had spare time.
Did you follow any certain plans?
I followed plans in a book that I got from the library. It was a book on Indian Birch Bark Canoes.
Did you use any modern tools to build this canoe?
The tools I used were mostly rough tools, and I have a few of them here. A couple of these tools are antiques, as you can see. This is a draw knife. I also used a tool called a froe, and this tool was made for me by a friend of mine, and I use this for splitting the logs, splitting wood for ribs and sheathing in the canoe. If you'd like, I'll show you how this works. Would you like to see that?
Yes.
Okay. This is an old tool that was used in the old days to make wood shingles, cedar shingles for homes. But the Indians also used it for splitting logs. And they would drive the froe into one end of the log, and then use the handle for leverage to split the wood. You see how? And they'd work that in there. Can you see that all right? Now see, if you're lucky, you could split off enough to make a rib. Okay. I also have an old-fashioned plane that I use to plane down these boards as I split them. So many times they're too rough and too thick. You smell that white cedar. I also use a tool called a crooked knife. And this I use for planing, for shaving wood, making it smooth. Okay. Also for cutting. Okay. Much the same as a draw knife. Cut.
What are the basic steps in building this canoe?
Well, first of all, in order to build a canoe, you should find a place that's comfortable to work in. Next, get the birch bark. Then get the white cedar, split the logs, make all the sheathing and the ribs, dig up pine roots and clean them and make them ready for lashing, for sewing. Then when you have all these ingredients, then spread the bark out on the ground, or wherever you're going to build it. I built mine on a platform in the shed. And on this you set the gunwale, and you wrap the bark around it, and then lash the bark to the gunwales. And when that part's done, the sheathing goes inside, lengthwise, and then the ribs hold the sheathing in. And it's the ribs that give the canoe its shape. The ribs had to be steamed and then bent and held in shape. And for this I made a homemade steamer out of a downspout. And I put several of these ribs into this downspout, got them steamed, and then bent them and held them that way. And that's what gives this canoe the shape it has.
Did you ever become discouraged at any time?
No, never. The further along I got building it, the more excited I got about building it and finishing the canoe, especially towards the end. I couldn't wait till it was finished.
When it was finished, were you excited about getting out into the water with it?
I couldn't wait, so I went down to this little brook here in Wilbraham where the ducks swim around, and we launched the canoe, and the very first thing I did was take a good bath. It spilled right over. It tipped over on me, and I got drenched.
What inspired you to build a canoe this way, the way the Indians did?
I thought it'd be kind of a challenge, a little fun, and it proved to be quite a challenge and a lot of fun, really.
Making birch bark canoes was part of an Indian's everyday work, but for Dr. Anthony Polom, it was a part-time hobby that required much patience and skill.